Hey friends, welcome back to Rita Talks. I'm Rita, and on this YouTube channel, I just share some of the thoughts, ideas that I've been thinking about, some of the things that have been going on in my life. And in today's video, I just want to talk about this idea of training yourself to spot turning points. So yeah, I mean, it sounds a bit cryptic, but this is something that I've been thinking about on and off, because basically I've realized in my life that sometimes basically things change in a blink of an eye, and you only realize that things had changed in a permanent way at that point in time, only retrospectively. And basically, something that I've been trying to be very, very intentional about is being able to spot, like trying to train myself, is being able to spot those turning points in real time instead of waiting a few years to realize that that was a turning point, because that basically that ability to spot turning points in real time makes you appreciate the things in life much more. And there was actually when I first started making these videos, I think at the beginning of the year, there was one turning point that happened, which was that my old gym, from one day to the next, was closed, and basically that I was like I needed to shift my gym habits to go to my new gym, and that was an interesting turning point because all of the environment that I was used to going from one day to the next no longer existed. And I don't know, I've just been training myself to be able to spot those turning points and appreciate them, because you take for granted so many of the things that you currently have because they're just part of your life right now, and you take them for granted, and that means that you're able to appreciate them less. And in the future, you're only able to look back retroactively, and in a nostalgic way, to realize how much value those things had. And this is something that happened to me when I went, when like I was in my French engineering school, and I was just taking for granted my environment, my friends, and things like that. But then when I went to Georgia Tech, I was in a completely different environment. I lived in Metz, in which they have their French campus, and then in the blink of an eye, I went to the US, and then in the blink of an eye, there was COVID. Like, and I couldn't realize like things had happened in such a fast way that I didn't really take the time to appreciate the value of the things that I was taking, like that were there for a little point in time and that I was taking for granted, and I did not realize that I was taking for granted. And then all of a sudden, I came back to France, and then all of a sudden, I spent, I don't know, 2 months in Paris. All of a sudden, moving here to where I'm currently working, and that has been I've been like all of a sudden I've just been doing my internship, and then all of a sudden my internship ended, and I was taking all of those things for granted, like because in such a period of time so much had changed in my life. Um, it felt like things were going too fast, in the sense that I barely got used to something that it would stop. And that's when I think this notion of truly, like, I didn't realize it back then, but I've definitely felt it, especially when I was in the US and I was really missing my friends from France. That basically, like, things can change in the blink of an eye, and you have to take that moment to appreciate and like make peace with the fact that things are going to be permanently different. And I think this year I've had like one basically turning point, which was the gym thing, but it's a small one, it's a minor one. It does not have much to do with anything in my life. Another turning point was my sister basically officializing things with her boyfriend, and basically my family meeting her future husband's family, and now they have their wedding that's going to be in a few months, which is still crazy for me to wrap my head around. Honestly, like I still can't believe it. But I wish them the best, obviously. And I feel like 2024 is gonna be a year full of turning points, I think, in my life. And I'm starting to get a glimpse of it because today, I mean, I'm only thinking about this because, I mean, it's not like a huge turning point, but it is one for me. Basically, I just finally got my, like, activated my new phone that I received about 10 days ago because my sensor, my glucose sensor was ending today, and so that was the time for me to change the phone so that I can have the new sensor linked up to the new phone instead of the old one. But one turning point is that basically today I've just been like setting up the new phone, and I've been trying to get used to it. I mean, it's not that different. It's just it feels a bit different, like the 120 hertz, like the screen rate. The My brain is like I don't know the screen rate. I don't know if that's the actual word, but anyway, the refresh rate, yes, for the phone is 120 hertz, and basically it just feels so fast that I was not used to it. I mean, that's not the biggest turning point. So the thing that I had to do today is I needed to figure out all of the stuff that I needed to set up again. So my bank accounts, my bank applications, needed to set them all up again on this phone. My transferring my Oura Ring, transferring my Apple Watch, transferring my I don't know all of my audiobooks, stuff like this, to this new phone, and mainly actually just like the hardest one to set up was the bank account transfer because like the identifiers I have always struggled to find them, so I'm so glad that I did not erase my previous phone because that made it easier for me to find them again. But in any case, that was one thing. I think the turning point for me is this app that I've been using, which is called Win Streak. That, I mean, I'm not able to. Yeah, it's this little one here, and it's the app by Dan Sullivan and Strategic Coach that I had downloaded last year when I was reading The Gap and the Gain, right around this time of the year, maybe like about 20 days from now, day for day, but it was in December that I read that book. And basically, I downloaded the app and started basically registering my daily wins, and I've been doing it ever since. And today, when I moved my phone, it looks like the app is no longer available on the App Store, which kind of sucks. And this is actually like I just basically used the app yesterday on my previous phone to obviously register my wins, and I also use it as like part of my homework for life, which is a concept by Matthew Dix that he talked about in his book Story Worthy. And basically it's like I was combining the two concepts of having like registering 3 wins for the day. I usually did more, and combined it with Matthew Dick's story-worthy moment of the day, which is the homework for life that he talked about in his book. And basically up until yesterday, I was using this app to basically take notes of this stuff. Like I've been doing it for about a year. And now I realized that I'm not going to be able to use the app anymore because it doesn't exist on the App Store anymore. So I'm just going to go back to just using exclusively my Apple Notes because obviously like the things that I had on the app, I have them like saved. I basically used to like when I was using the app, which I no longer like up until yesterday, which I'm no longer going to be able to because I've just changed phones. I have this like Apple Notes where I have this table, and I just put like every day some noteworthy moments of the day and like the wins for the day. And now I'm just gonna like I had started this I think in September of last year. And when I learned about the win streak thing, I also merged them together, and I've been basically duplicating both in the table on my phone, on my notes app, and on the app. And I'm so glad that I did that because now I no longer will be able to do it in the app. So it's back to the same strategy that I used about a year ago. So yeah, that's like that has made me think about this whole turning point thing where sometimes things just go so fast, and you have to, in some sense, grieve, like acknowledge that things are changing, and show a moment of appreciation for the end of a chapter and realize that that's the end of the chapter, and that allows you to move on with a fuller heart. And that's something that I was missing before, is that I wouldn't realize that it was the end of a chapter, and basically my expectations would still be the same uh, before that turning point, and I would be basically very unhappy because I would not have accepted that something is no longer going to be the same. And that's something that I'm learning to be more mindful of, and yeah, basically just be more present. That way I can just give things the proper appreciation that they deserve. And yeah, it's just a very, very interesting concept that somewhat forces me to put life into perspective and just appreciate the things that I have today, and that no today is no 2 days are the same, and even though they're slightly different, some days things just change in the blink of an eye, and you just have to appreciate that, and you just have to acknowledge it, so that you can take on whatever is next in your life uh, with a full heart, and that you can go all in without being held back from assumptions that are no longer true. And that's something that I've been really trying to be mindful of, and like really listen, or like be aware to like of my environment. Sometimes it's more obvious than others. Sometimes it's less obvious, it's more subtle, and you're not able to know, especially when it comes to relationships, like from one day to the next your relationship with someone might be completely different. And when you don't appreciate that and accept it, it creates a lot of tension, and like, and at least that's how I've experienced it. And just acknowledging what seems to be the truth, and moving on to the acceptance part as fast as possible, um, is what I've found to be the most helpful way to deal with these things. Obviously, this has not like over the past, I don't know, few, like I have not had to deal with this very much in the past year because things have been pretty stable. Uh, I still live in the same place. Things have not changed that much. But I somewhat have a feeling that in 2024, lots of things are going to change, and I just need to accept whatever change is gonna happen, and be ready for it. And the best way I can do that is by appreciating each day that I get to live between now and then, and just live it fully. And yeah, just being grateful for it. Living like there's this quote that I that I just tweeted. That was, I think, I don't remember who said it, but I can tell you because I just tweeted. Yeah, live in day-tight compartments by Sir William Osier, and I found this quote as resurfaced on my Readwise app, which is a really really helpful app that allows me basically to digest more of the stuff that I'm reading and like just keep keep learning and keep remembering the things like the wisdom that I've gathered from my Kindle highlights since I've been reading a lot. And basically this was in the How to Stop Worrying and Start Living book by Dale Carnegie, which I didn't finish, but I had partially read. And yeah, I think that that quote is a perfect I don't know example, or it's a perfect philosophy to follow. So especially when it comes to dealing with uncertainty and new stuff and appreciating the phase that you're in. And so yeah, I thought that it couldn't be better timed to have seen that quote than today. So here's to turning points, and here's to appreciating the little things in life, being present, living each moment, and basically appreciating each day that you get in any specific phase of life, and not wishing that things could be different, because I think each of us are in the perfect place, in the perfect time, in the perfect moment, and at least for me, there is nowhere I would rather be, even though sometimes I think that there is, but I think this is the right place for me to be right now. And while that's true, I will still be here. As soon as that changes, I want to acknowledge the change as fast as possible and adapt as fast as possible. So yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about for today. Thanks a lot for tuning in. You can click here to watch my previous video on this channel, so the one right before this one, or you can click here to watch my latest video on the channel overall. I hope you have a fantastic rest of day, night, whichever time of day it is where you are right now. Bye for now, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye bye!